I want to give a special shout out to all my patrons first. Thank you so much to my Bibliospren, Bibliohowlers, and my Bibliomancers. It means a lot to me that you give me your extra support for my passion and hobby. Hi everyone, Patrick here. Today I will be giving a spoiler-free book review of an unreleased title. The book will be released in April 2024. I know that's still about 5 months from now, but today I will be doing a spoiler-free book review of The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan. This is my Patreon pick for my book of the month last month, and today I will be giving a spoiler-free review of it. And yeah, although next year is not even here yet, but the potential of The Silver Blood Promise becoming at least one of the best fantasy debuts of 2024 is guaranteed. I have always considered myself blessed that I am now in a position where I get asked to read and review a fantasy and sci-fi book early. When I received the email from James Logan asking whether I would be intrigued to reveal the cover art of The Silver Blood Promise and read the book early or not, I accepted it immediately. How could I not after seeing that gorgeous cover art by Jeff Brown? Wait until you see the full spread later. But back to the point. The honor and opportunity to read and review an upcoming book this early is irregular for me. Remember, this email goes back to last March and April, and The Silver Blood Promise is being released to public in April 2024. I know, it's still 5 months before this book is released to public. That's also why I waited 6 months before I read The Silver Blood Promise, even though I wanted to instantly. I knew from reading the premise and the first chapter, there would be a good chance that I would end up enjoying this one. And full disclosure, I have been asked to read and review a book this relatively early a few times, but if the specific book doesn't capture my attention enough, or maybe it is something I dislike, I usually let it sit in my TBR pile for a while, or at least wait until the publication date first before I post a review. Luckily, The Silver Blood Promise is a big hit. I had so much fun reading it, and I have faith that this book will earn a spot in many future readers' bookshelves. This is a well-paced epic fantasy debut suitable for fans of Scott Lynch, Robert Jackson Bennett, and a more hopeful Joe Abercrombie. The Silver Blood Promise by James Logan is the first book in the Last Legacy series, and it centers around Lucan Gardova. Lucan is a card shop academy dropout, and thanks to a duel that ended badly, the disgraced heir to an ancient noble house. His days consist of cheap wine, rigged card games, and wondering how he might win back the life he threw away. When Lucan discovers that his estranged father has been murdered in strange circumstance, he finds a fresh purpose. After 7 years of running from the past, Lucan swore a silver blood promise to carry out his father's final wish. Determined to amend his mistakes, Lucan vows to unravel the mystery behind his father's death. His search for answers leads him to Saphrona, the fabled city of merchant prince, traders and thieves, monsters and murderers, where anything can be bought if one has the coin. Lucan only seeks the truth, but instead, he finds dangers and secrets in every shadow. For in Saphrona, where coin rules as the true god, everything has a price, and the price of truth is the deadliest of all. As you can tell from the premise, The Silver Blood Promise employs a murder mystery plotline in an epic fantasy setting. Written by a different author, I believe The Silver Blood Promise could theoretically become a grimdark fantasy novel. And there's nothing wrong with that, because I am an enthusiast of grimdark fantasy. However, I will let you know upfront, this is not a grimdark fantasy. The city of Saphrona is ruthless, it is violent, it treats most of its citizens poorly, and it is certainly not shy about it. The rich prosper and the poor perish. This saying has practically become the slogan of the city of Saphrona. But although Lucan's quest and investigations into the mystery behind his father's death led him into brutal games and conspiracies he never expected, the balance between the heavy and the funny moments were always deftly handled. It is a grim setting and society, there's no doubt about that, but the narrative never fully taps into the grimdark territory. And the book is more entertaining for it. If Logan's intention in writing The Silver Blood Promise is to write something compelling and gritty while keeping the humorous, fun, and hopeful tone intact, he has accomplished his missions in full spades. And this is thanks to the charming and likable newly formed trio. Told in a third-person past-tense narration, for the majority of The Silver Blood Promise, Lucan dominated the story as the singular POV character. And honestly speaking, I didn't find myself immediately attached to him in the early portion of the novel. Lucan Gardova is a drunkard. He is rude and impatient, and he likes to cut people off when they're talking. And this cutting people off when they're speaking is something he kept throughout the whole book. It is a part of him, but it would be a difficult task for me to dislike him. Lucan's heart is in the right place. He is the type of character who makes jokes in the most dangerous and inappropriate times, and more importantly, Lucan tries his best to help people, even strangers, as best as he can. His personality is one of the main reasons the book constantly felt exciting and delightful. And as I read more and more chapters, the more I felt invested in his mission and found friendship with Flea and Ashura. Especially Flea, as Lucan became an unexpected father figure, even when he is reluctant to admit it to her face. Mysteries upon mysteries, there is always another secret. Lucan's succession of question-raising investigations has led him to form his own sort of group of thieves in Safrona. The dynamic and the relationship between Lucan and his newfound allies is easily the best aspect of the novel for me. I absolutely love reading Lucan and Flea together in a scene. They're a bloody riot entertainment. And hey, the badass and the child trope is one of my favorite tropes in storytelling. And I know Lucan is not old, he's also not a badass. But what I love most about this trope is how an encounter with a seemingly random kid, usually a complete stranger, could change the trajectory of their lives. This applies to both individuals. In the overwhelming face of fear, cruelty, and death, company and friendship, even from someone you just met, can become a beacon of hope after all. For those of you who are not familiar with this trope, here are some popular examples of the badass and a child trope. Joel and Ellie from The Last of Us, or Mando and Grogu in The Mandalorian. The relationship development that can be achieved from it when it is done right is ceaselessly superb for me. And in that regard, the badass and a child duo trope in The Silver Blood Promise was incredibly well implemented. Lucan and Flea became a source of strength and support for one another. There was never any dull moment when Lucan and Flea were together on the same page. Their banter is hilarious, and the chemistry they found and nurtured felt genuine and easy to attach to. My enjoyment of The Silver Blood Promise was clearly enhanced due to this trope. When I finished reading the novel, I felt sad that I didn't have the sequel to read yet. I know that is probably an unfair thing to say because this book is not published officially yet, not for almost half a year, but it is true. Flea and Ashura has only one POV chapter in this entire book, near the end, and I have a feeling that frequency will increase in the sequel. It's better, and I want more amazing banter. Once The Silver Blood Promise has been released and read by more readers, I am confident it will be recommended to readers who love Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett, The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, maybe even Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson due to the thieves aspect, and also the relationship between Lucan and Flea that can be correlated to Kelsier and Vin. Understandably, thieves, profane language, gambling, and devilish games are integral to the plot and the city of Safrona. The pyramid game in this book in particular is destructively painful to its players, both mentally and physically. I will let you experience that for yourself. And this is me saying I do agree with these comparisons, especially The Lies of Locke Lamora and Foundryside. But just in case, to not mislead future readers, it needs to be noted that The Silver Blood Promise doesn't feature any hard magic system like Foundryside or Mistborn did. Faron magic is in charge here. It is a soft magic and it is relatively minimal in its usage. I am sure its application and the Faceless will be more prevalent in the sequel. And the world building and prospect of the world is bigger than what is portrayed here, but I couldn't really gauge it yet because the edition I read did not have any map, and as I said, 90% of the story in The Silver Blood Promise took place in the city of Safrona. Lastly, before you ask, rest assured that there is no cliffhanger in The Silver Blood Promise. Mistborn, The Final Empire, and The Lies of Locke Lamora, despite being a series, work absolutely well as a satisfying standalone novel, and The Silver Blood Promise follows that similar notion. But this is definitely its own book, not something completely similar to The Lies of Locke Lamora, Foundryside, or Mistborn. The next book will take place in a different city. Other series like The Gentleman Bastards by Scott Lynch or the Divine City Trilogy by Robert Jackson Bennett, to mention a few, did this kind of series progression magnificently. And I look forward to witnessing what kind of page-turning chaos James Logan will unleash in the next installments of The Last Legacy. If The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch or Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett are some of your favorite books like they are for me, I cannot recommend The Silver Blood Promise highly enough. Pre-order The Silver Blood Promise. It is not an explosive or mind-blowing read, but if your value and preference of escapism is measured by how compelled and immersed you are by well-flowing prose and narrative, The Silver Blood Promise will do its best to absorb your time. There were possible nods to The Blade itself by Joe Abercrombie that I enjoyed reading too, like a chapter being named The Blade itself, Death as an Equalizer quote, Bran and Balinor Banking House, which may be a homage to Valin and Balk Bang from the First Law, and Flea having 9 fingers. The Silver Blood Promise exhibited a greedy world with more upbeat main characters and tone taking the spotlight. It is not too far-fetched to claim this is a good alternative when you are in the mood of a more hopeful Joe Abercrombie storytelling style. From the engaging murder mysteries, investigations, dialogues, and characters you will gradually come to love, The Silver Blood Promise was an exceptionally riveting and captivating fantasy debut novel. It is indisputably a strong candidate for the best fantasy debut of the year. With The Silver Blood Promise crafted, James Logan offers his pinky finger with a promise that Lucan's adventure will ensure readers have a blast should they choose to read it. Whenever the sequel is ready, Korslakov, the City of Spires, awaits me. And I hope when the time comes, you will be there with me to read the next chapters of Lucan's, Flea, and Ashura's swashbuckling adventure. So yeah, I think that's it for my review of The Silver Blood Promise. And as I said, it's still 5 months before this book is released to public officially. I know that's still quite a while, but you know, time flies, right? And by the time this book is released, I think many people, many fantasy readers will enjoy this one. I highly recommend this one, and also that cover art is gorgeous. I'm gonna need a physical copy of that. And yeah, I think to close this up, I just want to say once again, if you love books like The Lies of Locke Lamora and Foundryside, and maybe even Mistborn, I think this one will be very suitable for you. Even more so if you love the kind of jokes that is told in Kings of the Wild or maybe The First Law. Again, a more optimistic version of it anyway. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me today. Do let me know whether you are interested in giving this book a try someday or not. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for your support. Bye bye. Lastly, I want to say thank you so much once again to all my patrons who keep on supporting me.